Mike.
No, it was
No,
Mike.
Mike.
He said
Mike.
can't.
Oh, no, it said I can.
Yeah.
Mike, can
See?
you hear us?
No, he can't.
Close your eyes,
Why doesn't somebody log into Zoom and then it'll be on, huh? Just thinking outside the
I
box
can
there.
pull the sound from the other room, and it won't sound great over there, but they'll be able to hear it.
Why don't we just start people's business? Technology, catch up.
Mike, can you hear us?
I'm out there.
I can hear us on the sound.
The amount of money.
You turn the sound off.
So for the new people here, this is very exciting for you, isn't it?
Tina's not really that new. She's a comeback kid.
So you say close your pool, you're gonna
26.
Very suspenseful, right?
I was in
Better than Law and Order,
third,
Chicago Fire. We're on top of it.
and I was
I'm trying here, man. Work with me.
nice.
Huh?
Tomorrow
Yeah.
will be
The gorge,
That's still cold.
right now it's gorgeous. It's
Tim, I hear you now.
You can hear us?
Yep. I can hear the meeting room, but not clearly.
Okay.
Okay.
We're not speaking clearly.
We'll try and be very loud.
I have 6,000.
Or speak slower.
Mike, did you hear anything?
Right.
Maybe we should get the other mic. Maybe that's the preferred one.
Mike, can you hear us?
Yeah, I heard you, Jeff.
Okay.
It's not, the sound quality is terrible, but I do hear something now, so that's good.
Jeff was
Something's not-
mumbling, Mike.
We'll try to enunciate better and
That-
louder.
Good, very good. Good job, Jeff. Now, how was that, Mike? Better?
Better.
It'll do.
Alright.
It's not great, but, yeah.
You sure? We could wait.
Tim's gonna play with it for a minute, we'll be back.
Whereas, in order to remedy a
I mean, I was old when I was in
Yeah.
and it was like 7, 8.
So I had someone come and give me an estimate to scan all of the maps and plans in our basement.
And I even have a silver cover on it, but still.
Wish you brought your guitar now, right?
Yeah, my parents are.
How about a little acapella?
But they will be driving.
We got a couple volunteers in the back.
They will go in.
Was it after 4? Was it after 4?
Mike said he could barely hear it.
Oh,
Yeah, that's because I switched it to the speaker in the back to see if that would pick it up.
Yeah.
But it's basically reading off our speakers
But I
that we
had
monitor,
a class
so
at
it's gonna sound terrible.
Zoom at 10, that when we came at 11:30, because we were downstairs till 2, and I had to get ready for this. I wasn't at my desk. I mean, I might have just.
Recording in progress.
Oh.
Maybe we should
Yeah,
turn
yeah.
this off.
It's not.
We don't need to broadcast, right?
Oh, wait, there's a-
Well,
All right, you got it.
Not knowing something.
Mike,
gonna
how's
work.
that?
Yeah, we need it.
How's this? Anybody hear us better?
Yeah, we can hear you a little bit. It's, again, not the best sound quality, but I think you should go ahead.
All right, I think we're gonna go ahead, Mike.
if it's okay with Mike.
So we had the public information session on Restore New York. Did anybody have any questions?
This is in reference to a grant, right?
Yes.
So references, the grant is actually Restore New York, Bill. We get up to $3 million, and we have to put in 20%, but it's a huge project.
Try and talk mostly into the mic. Should be good.
Okay, so, the second item on the agenda is set a date for public hearing. Mr. Renahan?
You want to do that? For any thing on the agenda first, we're supposed to open up to the public if they had any
I
questions.
did that.
Oh, you
He
did?
did,
Okay, sorry.
yeah.
Oh, when we do it.
Don't know if they heard.
They
Yeah,
might
we
not
do it
have
again. Yeah. Make a motion to suspend the rules for any item on the agenda again, in case
Second.
nobody heard the first time.
Public comment.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody who'd like to say anything? Doreen? Mike? iPad?
Would anybody like to speak on an agenda
I got it.
item?
I got it. Make a motion to resume the rules?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Renahan, go ahead.
Okay. So that's number 2, right? Resolution 2?
Correct.
Okay, whereas in order to remedy, a copy of which is attached here to has been issued for property located at 46 Wildwood Drive, Town of Poughkeepsie, State of New York pursuant to Chapter 159A-4 Moen of the Town of Poughkeepsie Town Code, and whereas said order to remedy has not been complied with, now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set the 5th day of October 2022 at 7 p.m. at Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as and for the time, date, and place of a public hearing to consider a recommendation from the zoning administrator that the town or its contractor remove and as needed, continue to remove all garden waste, fallen tree limbs, and cut the grass to a height not to exceed 12 inches, all at the above property, so it will not become overgrown and unsightly, the cost of which work shall constitute a lien and charge on the above real property until paid, satisfied, or discharged, and shall be collected in the same manner as other town charges. So moved.
Second.
A motion and second. Any questions on that one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Mr. Carlos?
Okay. We have a resolution, resolution public hearing, Arlington Sewer Improvement Area Number 2. At a regular meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie, Dutchess County, New York, held at the Town Hall, 1 over Rocker Road, in Poughkeepsie, New York, in said town on the 7th day of September 2022 at 7:00 p.m. prevailing time. The meeting was called to order by Supervisor Baisley.
And upon roll call, everyone was present,
Okay.
so skip
The
right
following resolution attached as Exhibit A and incorporated herein, as to which the town board does waive a verbatim reading, and directs that it be spread across the record as if in fact it had been read verbatim, was offered by Councilman Carlos. And moved its adoption, seconded by.
I'll second. Oh.
Stefan Krakauer.
Having duly put to a vote with the result of following. Councilman Renahan.
Aye.
Councilman Carlos, aye. Councilwoman Berger.
Aye.
Councilman Safone.
Aye.
Councilman Krakauer.
Aye.
Councilwoman Shearson.
Aye.
Supervisor Baisley.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Carlos.
Motion passes 7-0.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby set the 5th day of October 2022 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as and for the time, date, and place of a public hearing in regard to the Special District Assessment Roll, which concerns the water districts, sewer districts, and drainage districts of the Town of Poughkeepsie. And be it further resolved that said proposed special district budgets will be on file in the Town of Poughkeepsie Clerk's Office on Thursday, September 8th, 2022, available for review. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Whereas the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie, has heretofore received an application submitted by the Cider Mill Friends of Open Space and Historic Preservation Incorporated to hold the 10th annual Old Fashioned Cider Tasting Event at the historic Kimlin Cider Mill, Cedar Avenue, Poughkeepsie, New York, on Saturday, October 15th, 2022, from 11 to 3 p.m. And whereas the presence of food vendors is a vital part of a successful event, now therefore be it resolved the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does not include the vendors of food participating in the old-fashioned cider tasting as peddlers and hawkers, and those vendors thereby exempt from the provisions of Chapter 151 of the Town Code. And be it further resolved that the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the application as submitted for said event to be held on Saturday, October 15th, 2022, between 11 and 3, and does hereby waive all permit fees relating to the old-fashioned cider tasting event pursuant to a request received by Lisa Weiss, President, a copy of which is attached. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Abstention?
Motion passes 6 with 1 abstention.
Whereas the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie has received an application submitted by Hudson Valley Animal Rescue and Sanctuary, Inc. to hold the Fall Festival event at 15 Barnes Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, on Sunday, September 25, 2022, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And whereas the presence of food vendors is a vital part of a successful event, now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does not include the vendors of food participating in the Fall Festival as peddlers and hawkers, and these vendors are thereby exempt from the provisions of Chapter 151 of the Town Code. And be it further resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the application as submitted for this event, and does hereby waive all permit fees relating to the Fall Festival event pursuant to requests received by Celeste Wiltsey and Samantha Van Beco, a copy of which is attached. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby consent to the town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board acting as seeker lead agency. Notice of intent paperwork in its entirety can be found in the town clerk's office for the project known as BP4 Wesley House, location of which can be found on the planning board notice attached hereto, dated August 23rd, 2022. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Whereas the town of Poughkeepsie meets regularly with representatives of Hudson 7, a group of municipalities which use the Hudson River as their source of drinking water, and whereas it has been proposed that the Hudson 7 members execute a memorandum of agreement, Amendment 1, to a May 31st, 2018 memorandum of agreement, which amendment would require each of the members to make a 3-year commitment to fund a protection coordinator, with the town of Poughkeepsie's annual share being $5,000, copied and annexed. And whereas per the amendment, the County Duchess and the County of Ulster will execute the amendment and become members of Hudson 7, and will each pay to commit $25,000 per year for 3 years towards the protection coordinator's retention. And whereas pursuant to the amendment, the County of Duchess will become a voting member. In addition, it will commit up to $19,999 for legal services to advise the Hudson 7 regarding the appropriate organizational structure for it and acceptable process to allow it to receive and disperse funds. And whereas the execution of the amendment is a type 2 action under seeker requiring no environmental review, because it constitutes the ongoing administration of town affairs without a major reordering of priorities which might impact the environment, and because it does not constitute an action under the environmental protection law. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor is authorized to execute the amendment on behalf of the town, which execution shall be effective on the execution of the amendment by the 6 other current members of Hudson 7 in the counties of Dutchess and the County of Ulster. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does accept with regret the resignation of Paul Magliato, sewer maintenance mechanic with the town of Poughkeepsie Sewer Department, effective September 6, 2022. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Resolution number 10. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby reappoint Ahmad Katani to the town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board as an alternate, which appointment will expire on December 31st, 2025. So moved.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. I'd like to table this because he hasn't even made the time to come and do his swearing in, is why he's getting reappointed. He's only made it to 2 meetings, so I've asked Mike to reach out to see if there's something we're still interested in entertaining. So I'd like to take it off the agenda.
Second to table.
All those in favor?
Aye. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Athena Kostakis to the position of part-time clerk, grade 4, step 1, with the Recreation Department at the salary of $19.255 an hour, effective September 12, 2022, which appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 8 nor more than 26 weeks per civil service law. And be it further resolved that the town supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Welcome aboard.
Welcome back.
Be resolved, Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the application submitted by Mark Massargin to hold a block party on Valley View Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, on October 1st, 2022, from 2 to 8 p.m., and does hereby authorize the Town of Poughkeepsie Police Department Traffic Division to close said street, but allowing access for emergency vehicles from 2 to 8 p.m. Be it further resolved that the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby waive the open container law in the event alcoholic beverages are to be served. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby reappoint Colleen McCarthy and Annan Carton Adams to the Historic Preservation Commission for a 5-year term, which term is April 20th, 2022 through April 19th, 2027, pursuant to the recommendation of the town historian. So moved.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie has heretofore received an application from Marist College for its Family Weekend Tailgate Party event to be held on Saturday, October 1st, 2022, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on the campus grounds, and whereas the presence of food vendors is a vital part of a successful tailgate party, now therefore be resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does not include the vendors of food participating in the Marist College Family Tailgate Weekend Party as peddlers and hawkers, and these vendors are thereby exempt from the provisions of Chapter 151 of the Town Code. And be further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby waive the open container law in event alcoholic beverages are to be served, relating only to the area where this event is being held, with all other state laws remaining in full force and effect. And be further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the application and submit for said event to be held on Saturday, October 1st, 2022. So moved.
Second.
The motion and second. Any questions?
I'd just like to point out that Marist College does do a very good job with all the activities they have on campus. Now, I know this is definitely something that's on campus, but I just wanted to bring to the attention of any Marist officials that may be watching our show, that everything that you guys do on campus does come off campus at some point with your students and their behavior and activities. This past weekend, we had a large number of parties going on. We wasted a lot of resources breaking up parties. You really need to step up what you're doing. I know we've talked, we've had meetings, and it doesn't seem to be, the message isn't getting out to your students and their behavior in the community. I don't mind approving things for you. I don't mind helping the community make Marist better, but you guys really have to step up and take more care for the students that live off campus in the Fairview and surrounding neighborhood. Because we do not need to be woken up every night at 12 o'clock with 200 kids and cabs going back and forth. So if you hear what I'm telling you, let's get on board and get these kids straight. Because I, for one, am tired of it, the neighbors are tired of it, and you're gonna be hearing loud and clear from us very soon.
I agree with Councilman Sphone. I was over there on, I think it was Friday or Saturday. There were kids with cups of solo party cups, presumably with some sort of alcohol, up and down the streets everywhere, crossing the streets, standing in the middle of the street. Just, it was ridiculous. It's not right, it's not appropriate. I think we should also crack down on the quality of life laws over in that area. I think our police should have strict enforcement. I don't think anybody should be basically having a party rolling through our town and our streets. It's dangerous, someone's gonna get hurt. It's also very disruptive for the neighborhood and the neighbors. It's just not fair. So I think we have to, on our side also, hold them accountable, write the tickets, write the violations of the ordinance, bring them into the court, and the court's gotta hold them accountable because it was ridiculous. It's like an MTV thing. It looks like it's a party that would be on MTV. It's not appropriate for a neighborhood where people live, gotta get up in the morning and go to work, so.
And we did have a discussion with the police department. Our department had a meeting this week. That's the beginning, start and force heavy, so they understand from the beginning on, this is the direction we're going in. If we have to line them up at court, we line them all up at court. I mean, it's not where you want to take them, but it's the only way they're going to learn. You know?
Yep.
You know, and the school does have a code of ethics, which they should be following on campus or off campus. So the school, as Mike said, has a lot of skin in the game, that they should actually be out there doing something. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Number 15 is a 30-day notice of liquor license. Number 16.
Whereas the town of Poughkeepsie, on behalf of its sewer districts and improvement area, wishes to improve the efficiency and capacity of certain wastewater transmission lines on Tucker Drive and Friendly Lane, for which work the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York has agreed to make $400,000 of grant money available. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept and ratify the acceptance of grants of permanent easements for sanitary sewer purposes from McAllister's Moving and Storage of New York, Inc., the Stop and Shop Supermarket Company LLC as successor to BBS Poughkeepsie LLC and Hildekar Associates LLC, each to be substantially the form annexed and is acceptable to the supervisor after consultation with the town engineering, sewer, legal department, and be it further resolved that upon review of the annex environmental assessment form, this board determines that this work is a unlisted action under seeker and that it will conduct an uncoordinated review of this work and determine that it will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts and issue a negative declaration thereon. And be it further resolved that the supervisor and his designee are authorized to execute such documents as are necessary to effect the receipt of the above easement. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions? This is, grant money we applied for like 4 years ago, through the Senator Serino's office. We got it, it sat in Albany, and it took multiple calls to finally get it through Albany, and the senator, ex-senator, and some of the other senators from not even this area to get it through the governor's desk to get to us. And this is to fix a problem by the police station with a pipe that's got a dip in and collapse. It's also to fix a small line down by IBM that we've been working on. So this will pay for a good portion of it. I just want to thank everybody for their help getting through this process to finally get the money to us. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Resolution number 17. Be resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby grant special consent to the following items to wit. Number one, approved Town of Poughkeepsie Soccer Club's Columbus Day Soccer Tournament. And be it further resolved that upon the objection of any member of the town board, an item might be removed from the list and voted on separately. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
There's an 18? Oh, special, sorry. Yep. Whereas the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie has heretofore received an application submitted by Bo Demzar on behalf of the town of Poughkeepsie Soccer Club requesting to hold their annual Columbus Day tournament at the Greenvale Soccer Fields and Park in the town of Poughkeepsie on October 8th and 9th, 2022, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. with a rain date of October 10th, 2022. And whereas the presence of food vendors is a vital part of a successful event, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does not include the vendors of food participating in this event as peddlers and hawkers, and these vendors are thereby exempt from the provisions of Chapter 151 of the Town Code. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is in receipt of a certificate of liability insurance naming the town of Poughkeepsie as an additional insured.
You can stop there, so moved.
Okay,
Because they're both paragraphs kind of say the same thing.
Okay.
One says we have it, and the other says we don't, and we do, so.
all right, we do.
So moved after
So
that.
moved.
Second.
Strike that last paragraph.
Do you have
Second.
any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Opposed? Motion passes 6 with 1 abstention. That brings us to the end of our agenda. I'd like to make the motion to suspend the rules for any item at all.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I know Larry wanted to speak. I don't know if anybody else did. There's a couple people.
Come on up, get on the mic.
Open mic.
Which one works?
Both of them.
I'm
Both
not
of them.
sure.
Just state your name.
When you start
so we
talking,
know who you
we'll
are.
find out.
You're good.
Okay, I'm Vern Penna. I'm a contractor, commercial builder, rebuilding the 44 diner. It's been a little over a year because the back sewage was clogged years ago. It's been closed, as you guys know, for about 10 years. And because it's been so long, it's not grandfathered in for the new owner to use the little leach fields in the back. So Franco suggested we go over Rocker Road to Island Drive, and it's about 3,000 feet. So we tried hooking up to Walgreens first. They said yes, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 times. They wanted everything. We gave them a contract, got a lawyer. They still said yes, and they stopped communicating. Then they asked for the deed, so we sent them the deed, and then never heard from them again. They kind of just faded away. So we're trying that road. So now we're stuck going over Rocker Road. It's a good-sized project. It's expensive. The owner is willing to take an extra loan out to get it done, but he's gonna need the backing of your board, and but he's willing to have engineering plans, the second plan's done, and a surveyor. We already called 811. They're marking everything out, and the surveyor comes in next week, and then we'll finish the engineering plans. But Franco's suggested if we get this done quickly, we could get it done before winter, since he lost last year. So that's why I'm here, so we can get that up and running. It's an eyesore. Across the street's an eyesore.
Isn't it?
Vern, I'll help fill in on some of your spots. He
Thank
came
you.
in, as we all know, the diner's been closed for 10 years. The septic system is one of the main reasons. The closest sewer that he could connect is Walgreens, which, as he stated, they're not really overly willing to take that as a partnership. So his other options would either be Adams, all the way out to Eastdale, or go all the way over the same route that they went over at Walgreens, or come across and come to Ireland Drive. And Ireland Drive is the fastest route to go. And the reason he's here tonight is they're not in the sewer district, so they have to become a tenant.
Yeah.
And going through the process with the Board of Health is gonna probably take them a couple months. So we're trying to get everybody's feel of allowing them to become tenants with the fee that it'll cost, once the engineering department comes up with it. But so that he feels comfortable going forward, we asked him to come and speak so the board can give them their opinion, so they feel comfortable going forward. We work on the paperwork, and they can simultaneously work with the Board of Health on the paperwork to not slow them down.
Is Walgreens right next door?
Yes.
Right next
Yep.
door.
Could we take that by eminent domain? The access?
It would probably take years, probably take a good year.
Well, I thought with eminent domain, you take it, and then any sort of compensation is what gets argued over, but I thought you could take it on the front end. I would just take a quick look. Right, but the access, I think there's a way to do it by eminent domain. It might at least get their attention to get that process moving again.
I know, I mean, I'm sitting
Because
here thinking, I hate the.
There's no really good
Right
reason why
there.
Walgreens wouldn't.
I know, they haven't been before.
There's really,
The only reason that they probably wouldn't is they would have to form a transportation corporation.
okay.
They'd have to what?
They would have to form
So
a transportation.
it's not as simple as just a connection, all right.
Yeah, that's probably why they're not answering. They realize they gotta go through that process of
Yeah.
transportation
Okay.
corporation. But Stefan, what you said, it does bring up a different question, is if there was an avenue of trying to get them turned over to us. That might be worth a phone call coming from us, but as of tonight's meeting, does anybody have an issue, before we even bring it to the board, of them working forward with hooking into Ireland?
No, not at all.
No.
Because I think everybody knows it's an eyesore. It's one of the things that's been on our plate for years, and it's always been a question. I know you had a tenant at one point, so hopefully we can move this forward. You can keep working with Jim Teed and them all down at the Board of Health going forward. And I'll talk to Jim when he gets back about a couple of the avenues that Stefano brought up, because maybe getting them to turn it over is an option,
I'd be surprised if the state didn't cut across 44.
They're gonna bore under it, Mark, from what they said. Yeah.
I have that lined up too. I have everyone lined up, ready to roll.
As you said, we met Don the other day.
Yeah.
It's probably not gonna be till spring. It's not gonna be that quick of a fix, but getting through the process, as long as you can work with the Board of Health at the same time that we're trying to get your paperwork together, at least you're moving forward. Yeah.
Moving forward would be fantastic.
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's gonna be a diner again, right?
No.
Oh. What's it gonna be?
Well, the fellow who owns it, he owns a couple of restaurants.
Locally?
No,
Okay.
this is his farthest one out. He's in New Jersey, Staten Island, Manhattan.
Okay.
Sounds good.
He's,
Well, we'll be surprised.
he's
No,
expanding.
no. What is he gonna build?
It's
I live right down the road. I gotta know what I'm eating.
he calls it the cheese grill.
Mhm.
But the morning will be a little different. The morning will be more like a diner. And the afternoon, he's gonna switch to what he's doing in his life. He understands that the area is attached to having that a diner.
Yep.
And I understand both sides.
I'm attached to it just being successful
And open.
serving good food, so.
I think that's what he wants to
Yes,
do, is,
so
you know,
we-
tweaking
yeah.
it to try to get it all to fit. you know.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly what I'm trying to do. And so I talked him into doing breakfast so everyone's happy, and then he can move on to what is in his mind to maybe one day he's going to build a franchise. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But he's a nice fella. He's a gentleman, very easy to work with. Good businessman. Construction-wise, he needs help.
Okay.
And
Well, thank you.
Well, Vern, I have your information. I'll reach out to Jim when he gets back, and we'll get in touch to make sure we move forward.
is he on vacation?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought he was leaving.
yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be back this week.
All right. Lee's here though.
Yeah. You can keep working with Lee.
Okay. We get along very well. Yeah, which is good.
You
Yeah,
keep working with him,
it's
because
always
it's a process. Getting through the Board of Health is a process, so the fact that you can work both simultaneously as we get, you know, some agreements in place, whether we work with Walgreens or we do it through here, to help you get moving forward.
That would be fantastic.
Hey, Vern, thanks for coming.
Well, thank you for your time tonight. It's my pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Thanks.
Anybody else want to speak?
Sir?
Hello,
Hi.
I'm Larry Trappell. I just want to do a quick follow-up on some news after I had talked about the Vassar deer situation back in July. So since that time, on August 17th, there was a column written by Bill Connors, who does the outdoors column in the Poughkeepsie Journal. Some of you may know him. I think he's been doing that a long time. And he stated, these are some quotes out of his longer article, but he stated, quote, "After an 8-year hiatus, in the fall of 2020, another large outbreak occurred in the lower Hudson Valley and killed an estimated 1,500 deer. Then in July 2021, the disease struck yet again, killing an estimated 2,000 whitetails in 15 counties. By the time it abated, it killed deer in Dutchess and other counties here in the Hudson Valley." And I'll hold for a second to say that he's talking about the EHD, which is the epizootic hemorrhagic disease. And then he says, quote, "I am going to go out on a limb and say that EHD has already reared its ugly head here in Dutchess. If I discover in a week or two that I'm wrong, I will fess up. Based on what was described to me the end of last week, I am willing to bet that unless there is another disease driving deer to water sources and killing them as they drink, you can be fairly sure EHD is here for the 3rd year in a row. The drought hitting this area is creating a haven for the mean little pests." By pests, he's talking about the insects that bite the deer. Then later in the day, Connors followed up with another article where he said, "Sure enough, later in the morning, the DEC confirmed the first case of EHD was found in the county. The DHC noted it was also investigating other reports of dead deer in Dutchess County. If you are hunting and see a deer that is not acting normal, let it pass because there's no way to be sure if it has EHD or some other disease that could make you sick or worse should you handle or eat it. Anyway, so that's his column, the highlights of his column. And based on this column, as well as our own local observations about how few deer there were this year, it's hard for me to imagine that even Vassar can come up with their usual scholarly justification to hold the January deer bait and shoot program. Eating them also no longer seems like a safe bonus. So I ask the board again to please contact Vassar, urge them to cancel it, and make a public statement about it. If the board members don't all agree on that, which I could understand, then I ask members to put out their own statements. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Is there anybody else? Doreen?
Yeah, I had a question, Jay. A couple months back, the police chief was in to talk about the body cams.
Yep.
And I know that the county was offering money, I saw that in the paper. But at the time, the chief was concerned about using maybe 2 different systems. And so has that been resolved at all?
No, Doreen, we're working through it right now between us and the county, because if we use car cams and body cams from 2 different systems, it's gonna be extremely expensive. And we've been working with the county, we met 3 or 4 times, trying to work through either changing our whole system to them or going on our own and sticking with the system we have. We currently now have a county system that the county's gonna use in one of our cars now as a test. So we'll see how that test pans out. We've been working with them with the difference in the cost too, because there's a cost difference by going with the county or us going by ourselves. So we've been working with that, and hopefully it's gonna be on the county legislature's agenda in the next couple of weeks, so we're working on getting a decision to them before that time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.